Okay,
Are you live?
yet now we are live. Let's just wait for some people to join.
So, do you have some articles today? Did you choose some?
Yeah, I wanted to choose some articles to talk about today, but like they all interconnect. It's always the same bullshit. Like I don't want to talk about the Middle East. Um, I don't want to talk about a lot of things. I just don't feel like it. I just came back from a nice holiday. Um, but yeah. Okay, so someone joined. I'm not sure if they're still here.
Okay.
Uh,
I mean, if you don't have topics, like I can make a topic, and we can.
yeah. Today is just gonna be a bit more chill, you know.
I,
Like I
I
honestly,
have some.
I don't, I
Yeah,
don't, I don't feel, I don't feel like talking about too much stuff. Okay, so people are joining right now.
I have some questions for you. Actually, like I want to hear your thoughts about some things.
Okay, yeah. Let me just do the introduction. Let's just wait for some people to join, and then we
And
can
yeah,
start.
before you introduce, I just want to apologize. I have a pretty bad cold, so my voice is not at its best today.
That's okay.
So it might be breaking and sounding weird and stuff. So I apologize.
Okay, I think that's okay for our viewers today. Okay, so so it's 7 p.m. Let's start the show. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Goldie Show, where we talk about the latest market updates, geopolitics and economics, and investing, of course. But before we start and get into the articles today, I have to shill the sponsors. And the sponsors for today are, drum roll, myself. I'm my own sponsor, okay? But here are my products, or some of my products, are my two books that I wrote. A third one is coming. If you are a new investor, I highly recommend you learn the basics before you gamble your money away, which is why I wrote A Guide to Almost Foolproof Investing. Available on Amazon, link in the bio. It's like you can read through it in less than 2 hours, but you will probably go back on some topics. And at the end, I actually go into a little bit of sector rotation. If you don't know what it is, again, I highly recommend you learn the basics first. But if you want to go deeper into the material and learn more about economics and what shapes our values, why is democracy failing with universal suffrage, a little bit deeper, and then I would recommend my second book, which is called Awakening, also available on Amazon, also available, link in the bio. I have a lot of artworks here. Every chapter, it's 10 chapters, and every chapter has original artworks from me. And I go into, like there's a psychology test in here. You learn sector rotation, fractional reserve banking, how fractional reserve banking is not causing inflation. I debunk a lot of stuff. You learn a lot just from this book. So some of you read it, many of you still didn't. So I recommend you do. My third book is on the way, but I'm not going to talk much about it now because it's far from ready. So I wrote about 30,000 words until now, but it's going to be around 100K probably for that part of the book. It's going to be a novel. One book is probably not enough to write. Okay, so those were my sponsors. Just before we get into the articles again, I want to talk to people who actually read my book. Please, if you read my book and you like it, leave a review. Leave a review, write a review, okay? Because that will help me enormously. That will help in the Amazon algorithm to go up. So if you read my book, many of people read my book, but didn't leave a review. So please, if you have time, it takes 10 minutes. Just write one or two sentences. If you liked it, please leave a review. Also, if you join my newsletter, okay? So that's another thing. I write a daily newsletter that you get to your email, depending on where you join, or on Discord. So it's actually a Discord newsletter that I mirror on Patreon. And you can read about my take on the market. It's very detailed. And all my videos are just fractions of that daily newsletter. If you want the whole thing, please join. It's a 7-day free trial. And I'm trying to move away from Patreon and try to get people into Discord directly. So it's a Discord newsletter, it's a Discord server. You will have access not only to my newsletter, you will be able to read my resources. You can read where my sourcing is coming from. You can join the show. You can text, you can message me. There's my sector rotation guide too, which many people got last year. And yeah, it's all there virtually for free. And you can join and you can cancel at any time, you know, if you, but there's one more thing. Some of you still join via Patreon, and I'm trying to message many of you and I don't get an answer. Okay? So when you join through Patreon, just keep in mind that I will have to physically invite you to the Discord server. But if you don't respond to your, like if you don't respond to your, to the Patreon messaging, right, which is the only way I can reach you, then I can't invite you to the Discord server. And it's very sad for me to see people like join and then leave after a month or two without even seeing the Discord server and missing out on that. So the best thing you can do is join Discord directly. You can just sign up directly on the page. It's a free Discord server, like there's a free newsletter which you can read. But if you want to read the complete newsletter that I post, you can just upgrade on the top of the page with a 7-day free trial for my Discord Premium. So yeah, so that's some housekeeping we did. Is there anything else before we start the show? Like anything you want to add, Neo?
No. I think it was a pretty good introduction. I mean, I'm excited for the third book. That's all I can say, actually. And yeah. I really liked Awakening. It was a good book, and so I recommend it to everyone. So try to go into it with an open mind, and Goldie tries to cover a lot in a short time frame. So there's a lot of things in there, and you might have to read 2 or 3 times to get like a good idea, but it's definitely worth it.
Thank you. You heard it. You heard it from a person that read it. And I hear similar things from everyone who reads it. Like there was not a single person. Like I had so many people email me, message me on Discord and on TikTok actually, just saying, like, asking questions about my book and about the test, like the political triangle test. They're like, whoa, what the hell? I've never thought about it this way. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? So you can learn a lot. Damn, I wanted to say something. Oh, okay. Yeah, before we get into the articles and stuff. So last week, so I just came back 2 days ago from my trip from London. I went to London for a few days, just for leisure. And, I didn't have much expectations, especially not after visiting Paris. Not to bash Paris, not to bash French people. You guys are okay. But, I personally did not like Paris. And going to London, I didn't have much expectations, but I am very impressed. I really liked London. Especially that Gentleman area where the movie Kingsman was filmed. Amazing. I got myself some cigars, some gifts. I highly recommend it. I visited Warner Brothers Studios. Not because I'm such a big Harry Potter fan, but I grew up with it, right? They were the same age as when I was little. So it was really, I don't know, like lots of nostalgia to see the actual settings of the movie. It was really, really nice, really beautiful. I went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. I tried beef Wellington for the first time there. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the beef Wellington. Not because it was bad, right? Because so beef Wellington, for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a pastry, it's like a big, like if before you cut it, just looks like bread. It's just a big bread, right? And then there is a meat core surrounded by mushroom, lots of mushrooms. Not the good mushroom though, not like shiitake mushroom, oyster mushrooms. No, the white people mushroom. What is that called? What mushrooms do white people eat?
Champignons or?
Yeah, champignon or whatever it's called. Like it's the same thing as portobello. They're actually the same species, portobello and that, and that was just very overwhelming to me, personally. But perfectly cooked, like great job on the chef. It was perfectly done. The bread was cooked. Like I believe it's pretty difficult to cook, right? I'm sure they brown the meat, and then you need the core temperature to reach through that mushroom layer and through the bread without burning the bread outside, right? So I believe it's a difficult to make dish. It was really well made, but to me personally, that mushroom surrounding the meat was just very overpowering and like I don't know. I don't want to say disgusting, but I just didn't like it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I tried it, so it was good. Went to lots of Asian restaurants. I had the best hot pot in my life. It's called Hai Di Lao, right at Piccadilly Square. Highly recommended. They even had like pillowcases where you put your where they offered to put your jacket in while you're sitting. It was just perfect, like the best service I ever had. And the variety of items for your hot pot was great. They had halal hot pots. They had non-halal hot pots, of course. They had different grades of spicy hot pots. They had everything, literally everything. It was just great. Hai Di Lao, right? Piccadilly Square. I'm not getting paid from them. They're not sponsoring me. I'm just telling you, it's really good there. All right. So get to the first article. Oh man. So okay, so I already talked about this. Neo knows about this. Let's just jump into it. So I only prepared one article because the other two articles that I wanted to talk about actually connect to the first one, okay? Especially the second one, okay? All right, so our first article is from investing.com, all right? So the headline reads, LME, London Metal Exchange, wins lawsuit over cancellation of nickel trades. Okay. All right. So, Sharecast, the suit brought by hedge fund Elliott Associates and market maker Jane Street Global Trading, challenged the LME's cancellation of nickel trades after a short squeeze in March last year. I talked about this actually when that happened. Shah saying hello, hi. According to Reuters, the case centered on an unprecedented surge in nickel prices, which briefly exceeded 100,000 per metric ton during a specific period of chaotic trading. Chaotic trading, okay. In response to the market turmoil, the LME decided to cancel $12 billion worth of trades. This headline here, this article I'm showing you right here, should be the headline of every news outlet. Okay? This is the reason why gold is surging. All right, we're getting into it later. Elliott and Jane Street Global sought a combined compensation of $472 million, alleging that the LME had acted unlawfully and deprived them of their assets. What? Okay. However, Reuters said the High Court dismissed the legal challenge in a written ruling. The LME defended its actions by asserting that it had the authority and the responsibility to unwind the trades. Reuters said the exchange argued that allowing the traders the trades to stand could have resulted in a cascade of defaulting clearing members, systematic risk, and a potential death spiral, with margin calls totaling a record $20 billion. Okay? All right. So, Jesus Christ, where can we start? So, just to explain the situation about this article here. So, at the London Metal Exchange, there were commodity traders that traded nickel. And it turned out that the nickel that they traded were just bags of rocks. Bags of rocks, useless bags of rocks. There was no actual nickel. So those investors, got wind of that. Were like, oh, okay. And they started investing all into nickel, causing a short squeeze, causing these margin calls of these, what do you call them? They're calling them clearing members, okay? Right? So, and then they say here, systematic risk. So the systematic risk is that they were trading like paper contracts. They were shorting them, right? Just like with some other commodities, we're getting into it later. So they're basically cheating.
Sorry, I just want to add, but they're not doing this with just nickel, right? I mean, or commodities, like this is also happening in the stock market, but we can maybe talk about this later.
Yeah. No. This is not look. This is really big because it's the commodity markets, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're not wrong. So, anyways, so they're cheating, and when they get caught cheating, right, with paper contracts and stones and rocks, bags of rocks, literal rocks, they just steal your money. They're not giving it back. And it wasn't even that much. It says here $472 million. Okay? $472 million. It's like $500 million back to investors. That's like in terms of who the big banks and the players here, the governments, that's actually nothing. But anyways, oopsie toops. Heads I win, tails you lose. Okay? So let's just see what happened here. And let's look at what is happening right now in markets, okay? So we all know now, I think I brought to you all the evidence that natural gas, like energy in general, is highly manipulated down. So natural gas should have surged last year to over $8-9 at least. But what happened instead is it crashed back to, I think, $1 or something. And since last year, around this time last year, since then, it has been range bound between $3 and $4. Now it's actually under $3. It's like $2.8 or something for natural gas, the last time I checked. Okay? And I talked about this on my newsletter. If you read it, congratulations, you will know that I posted a video on YouTube about people in the industry saying that if natural gas goes to $3.8 or $4, like between $3.8 and $4, these banks, okay, these too big to fail banks, which are shorting natural gas, which is insanely risky. It's an insane risk to take. They will get margin called, and those margin calls won't be like written here, 12 billion. Those will be in the trillions of dollars. Trillions. Okay? So why is it significant? Because this proves that the commodity markets are designed to have stable, to stabilize crucial commodity prices. You can't just make up a price. Okay? So if you remember, like I talk about this in my book as well, but I talked about this on TikTok as well. the 4 stages of the financial apocalypse. So in stage 2.5 or 3, I think, I can't remember fully, just the top of my head, we have price controls. So the government implements price controls, and that causes shortages. So we are at the price control level already. Why on earth should a private bank get into this risk, shorting commodities during winter? Okay, like that doesn't make any sense from no angle ever. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so the only way it makes sense is that they're just being puppeteered by the government. That's the only thing that makes sense. And it makes sense because the only one profiting from this, the only one winning from this is the government. Because energy, I posted the CPI report for October. If you read my newsletter again, you can see that energy actually being so low, because it's suppressed, caused the CPI to be so low. So they can lie about inflation while they hurt Russia, mainly their enemy, right now, which suffers from exports. They're mainly exporting natural gas. Their main export is energy. And they can keep local prices low and lie about inflation, and basically, playing price controls. Oh, we have record production. I saw a video today of I respect the guy. I'm not going to tell you his name, but he's on YouTube. He makes videos regularly, and he says that next year the US will be fine because they have 30% more production or something like that. OPEC just cut production, right? The other day. Like yesterday or 2 days ago. So, but US will be fine. Okay, so US will be fine. There's just one thing he's missing, and that is that rig counts have been going down. All right? Rig counts have been going down, and we still have record-breaking production. There's no money to be made in commodities. They have been suppressed. Oil is like $75. Natural gas is $2.8, like its lowest point since 10 years, 15 years. There's no money to be made to have record-breaking production. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
And I just want to add to that. I don't want to derail too much, but
yeah, go ahead.
Like one of the arguments for deflation, that's what they believe, and I think that's why they don't think commodities are going to go up, right? They think we're going to have a deflationary environment, and because of AI, right? Like AI stuff.
Yeah, actually, that was the reason. That was the argument they had why they have record-breaking production. Because they're using AI technology. They have this secret technology that increases production even with lower rigs, and no money to be made, and companies going bankrupt, and Mexico buying and increasing their imports of oil, right? Because you have all this production.
I will explain why this is a ridiculous argument, especially when it comes to commodities.
Yeah.
Like AI is deflationary, right? But like it reduces prices for many things. For example, movies, right? Like Disney spending billions of dollars on animation movies. In 10 years, it's a prompt. You prompt something, you have a whole movie, right? And then like cost of many things is going to go down. And the economy is probably going to grow a lot because of AI, because of increased productivity. But that is actually increasing the demand for commodities, right? So as economies grow, commodity demand is increasing. Right? So like technology becomes cheaper, but commodities, the demand will always only go up. So like as the economy increases, and there is finite resources on Earth. So eventually like the price of commodities cannot go to zero. Like it can go for cryptos or fiat, right? And so this whole argument that commodities are going to be extremely cheap in the future, it's like how, where? I don't understand that argument. It doesn't make sense in my opinion.
And not only that, AI is nothing new. Like it's nothing new. It's just a mania right now. There's nothing like what can ChatGPT do? Like the AI, the automation of things has been happening since the 70s, since the 60s. This is nothing new. Okay, people don't understand. Yeah. Anyways, so.
100%.
So, anyways, so what happened here, okay, and why this should be the biggest headline for any news outlet is that this proves that you cannot trust Western markets. Okay, you can't trust them your money; they will just steal it, right? So, right now, Germany is pushing China to sanction Russia, right? Well, you don't understand that China and Russia are basically one country economically, right? They're not going to sanction their closest ally, their biggest partner, trading partner. They're not going to do that. Just because fart Germany says that. And they also not going to do that because they know that they will be next on the chopping block. Okay? They're going to be next, right? So right now, just because you have Russian heritage, they froze your money. And they didn't even freeze your money. Germany actually stole these Russian oligarchs' money. So these rich Chinese people, they're rich Chinese people right now, but maybe tomorrow they're going to be rich Chinese oligarchs. Okay? So they're not stupid like Germany is. Okay? They're not stupid. All right? So they can't trust. How about commodity markets? You can't trust commodity markets either. They are price controlling commodity markets. They're manipulating commodity markets. And if it doesn't work how they want, yeah, they just steal your money. That's what they're doing with natural gas right now. They stole my money. Okay? And this is why gold increases. Gold prices are hitting record highs right now. Do you know why? Because China is pulling their money, their gold, from the LME, from the London Metal Exchange. They know, it's just a ticking time bomb. Central banks all over the world are investing into gold, even Poland. Poland is even doing that. They know that the fiat system based on debt is not for long for this world. Not for much longer for this world. They're pulling. Oh, but gold prices are just record highs. It's just 2000. It should be probably 10x what it is right now. Okay, so the stock market the stock market can crash anytime, right? I talked about this yesterday in my latest video. On my newsletter, again, please join, link in the bio. It's for free. I don't know why you're not joining. The stock market is very unstable. Everyone's expecting the Fed to cut rates, but what you don't know is that they just want you to believe that they're going to cut rates, but they actually can't cut rates because the government, okay, they are financed via bonds. So what these investors do is, because they think the Fed's going to cut rates any moment now, they want to lock in these bonds right now as long as yields are high. But once the Fed cuts rates, now they have like this super high yielding bond, right? So bond yields peak, they buy at the top or at the bottom basically of the bond market before it goes down again in yields. So they think, they can lock in these super high yields even though interest rates will be cut. Okay, but if interest rates are going to be cut, if the Fed cuts rates, there's just a teeny tiny problem with that, because that means that no new bonds can be issued. And no one is going to buy bonds anymore. Thus, the government can't get their funding. They're already monetizing the debt directly, but that was just a little extra cash that they could have just before the debt crisis catastrophe that is eventually going to happen. Okay, there you have it. I talked about it in my newsletter yesterday, of course. And I also made a video about specifically that one bit of my newsletter because I thought it's interesting and important to know for you. Because even though you have no control over anything that is happening, like what I'm talking about, you don't have control over that. But what you have control over is your own life and how that affects your life. So you can't invest into the stock market, you can't invest into commodities. Most people don't have the money to invest into real estate, but so the only thing left what you could do is, get maybe a 4 or 5% paying money market account for your cash, and just wait for things to happen. Invest into precious metals, which the government can take away from you as well, by the way, especially gold, which is why since over a year, since I started on TikTok, I'm actually talking about buying silver coins instead. And yeah, just the same thing I've been talking about for so long. Get out of the cities, maybe move to another country. I'm going to move to another country very soon. I'm going to tell you that very soon what I'm going to do. Or go off grid, do what you need to do to survive. Because this shit is going to hit the fan really damn hard, and things are going to get really bad really fast. Once the average person, the average NPC figures out that things are just not, like, things are shit, it's going to be too late.
It's like the Romans didn't notice when the empire fell. The barbarians were just in Rome, and the Romans were confused, like, what's going on? Why are the barbarians here? And only when the barbarians entered Rome, it's when the Roman citizens realized that the empire fell. You know?
Exactly. So my answer is to leave. I'm gonna go to another country. If you're like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that, try to get off grid. At least don't stay in the cities. Don't be dependent on the government. Right? But if you don't value freedom, that's okay. If you're okay with being a slave, then yeah, you can do that. It's your life. I can't care more about your life than you care about your own.
And in fact, the Soviet Union recorded its highest GDP growth right before its collapse. So
that's right. And the Soviet Union didn't collapse because it was weak militarily, right? To anyone here who's commenting in my comment section, ha ha ha, what are you talking about? The US can destroy Iran in 48 hours, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not talking about, why the US is gonna lose a war because Iran has this badass military. They can't fight a 3-front war with this dead, with no one joining the military. The US is bankrupt. I didn't know that. The fleet in the Middle East right now, threatening the world with World War III basically, is just a giant bluff. When that fleet is gone and sunk, there's nothing the US can do. Like, right? But, let's see what will happen, right? Just like in Ukraine, right? Right? Don't believe me from the beginning. It's just murder millions of people just to figure out that, oh yeah, actually Goldie was right. Yeah. Right? Anyways. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Let's go over the questions. Do you have anything you want to add to this topic? It's quite a big topic.
No, it's just I would advise people to look up the death of startups. There's like lots of YouTube videos around this topic, and like the way empires rise and fall is similar to companies as well, and businesses. And so like every founding nation or company has like a philosophy, and it's like created by passionate individuals that are like kind of like pushing, and they're like frontline leaders. And then slowly they become more and more bureaucratic and process oriented. And eventually it becomes like a big machine that becomes so inefficient that it just starts collapsing in itself. And so there's like almost like an entropy that happens in like these systems. And if you look at the United States, it's like getting there, right? Like it's becoming this like beast. So many agencies, departments, and debt, and then enemies on all sides, and who's an ally, what's going on, internal, outside, like it just becomes so much, there's no cohesion. And so that's how you can kind of tell that like things are falling apart, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no empire lasts forever. Okay, so XRP 1004. Oh God, I don't think I'm going to answer that comment. So he says, saw your video saying the Fed won't cut rates. ... They must. Look at gas supply. It's up. Rates will come down. Is gas supply up though? Is it? I just talked about it. Do you think gas supply is up and that's the reason why natural gas is at a 15-year low? Yeah. Do you think as companies go bankrupt, like he said, talking about startups should do really well right now, right? If your theory was right, but no, startup tech companies are going bankrupt. It's only the too big to fail banks and the two big corporations, tech corporations, that report positive earnings, which doesn't make sense in and itself, does it? Like if you're a startup, okay, and you have, let's say, an office building with 10 people working in it. If you buy another one with another 10 people being in it, what's your growth that you report on your next, stock option meeting? It's 100% growth. You just doubled your size, right? Right? Okay, now let's look at Walmart. Do you think Walmart opening another Walmart or two in Philadelphia, how much is that going to increase their stock options? 0.001% maybe. So it doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. Not even AI explains this. Do you understand? Do you get it? So where the fuck is this gas supply going to come from? With increased rates, with less cheap cash available, with companies going bankrupt, with energy companies going bankrupt, selling land, not getting permits to drill, oil rigs counts going down. Where the fuck is the supply you talking about coming from? Oh, also, empty storage tanks. They report empty storage tanks for gas. Do you believe the government that has been lying to us over and over again, now saying we have gas supply, do you believe that more than you believe people actually from the industry reporting empty storages? Who do you believe?
I believe the government.
That's right. Okay, then he continues, government inflation going up because of rates also. So inflation is going up because rates are going up? Did you even know what inflation means? Did you know what inflation is? Right? Do you know why rates go up when you have high inflation? Did you know the monetary, like in theory, not like what actually is happening with all the bullshit, just in theory. So do you think you should, as a central bank, increase rates when you have low inflation or high inflation? What do you think? Do you think when you have low inflation, you should increase rates? Does that make sense? You should encourage saving over spending when you have low inflation? No.
Yeah,
what the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god, it's just beyond stupid what you're saying.
They conflate price increase with inflation.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I'm saying government, but like the mainstream economists, like playing a trick. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't know what inflation is. He doesn't know what rates do. Like, you don't even know the basics. You don't even know the basics.
The increase in money supply.
Yeah.
Right. And price increases are what follows an increase in money supply.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
and so you can
nothing. Right? Like, anyways, his name is XRP. That explains everything. Go buy XRP.
The reason I just want to make that point, right? You can have price increase for any reason. Like, if if there's a mysterious chicken disease, right?
Yeah.
And all chickens die, 99% of chickens are dead, right? Then eggs are going to be very expensive to come by, right? Because there's no egg, or like only a few people will have chickens.
Yeah.
It's like we have inflation now. Like now we do a CPI, and the amount of eggs pushes the CPI up.
Yeah.
Because the price of eggs is like 10,000%. Do we have inflation now? No.
No.
It's the price of eggs.
Look, I want to add something, okay? So XRP, I know I call you stupid and stuff because, okay, but please understand that this is a topic I'm very passionate about, and I'm getting a lot of really stupid comments and people attacking me on this topic don't know what they're talking about, okay? I apologize to you. Please don't take it personally. This doesn't mean, like, this one comment you wrote, I actually want to thank you for this because I can answer it. And I think you genuinely asked me this question and I just overreacted. This one comment and my answer to that one comment doesn't define you as a person. Okay? I'm just getting mad about the comment because I'm getting these comments every day. Okay? It's sometimes like I think I'm driven into insanity actually. When I wake up in the morning and look at these comments and how many people I just block. Right? Because not only will they write a comment that is really stupid and very triggering to a person who actually knows what they're talking about, but they will continue argue with you and then they actually end up reporting me. And I always win the cases with TikTok. I just don't show you these things that are happening behind the scenes, right? But that's why I'm blocking them. I am for free speech. I actually wouldn't care about what people say, or it's okay. I just decide not to answer if I just don't feel like it. But I have to block these people because they're actually trying to hurt me and this channel. Okay? But I'm not saying you're one of them. I might have overreacted and I apologize for that, okay? XRP, okay? Of course, you can continue to buy XRP. I think it's really stupid if you do, but that's just me, right?
That's just my opinion, bro.
That's just my opinion, okay? So don't take this personally, okay?
I think you should take it personally, but it's just my opinion.
Do you think he should take it personally? Yes. Yeah, maybe it encourages you to learn more, right? Maybe after this live chat, you're gonna buy Awakening and actually learn why the Fed exists. I talk about it in my first two chapters, right, Neil? In my first two chapters, I explain sector rotation, and I also explain when sector rotation doesn't work. Like when you're at the end of the long-term debt cycle.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Milei, the Argentinian president who got elected?
I don't know much about it. I just know he was like all about he was like this NCAP libertarian guy, like super cool, like what I support, right? I'm a minarchist.
He's minarchist too, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, but now I'm not sure. It seems like he made like a 180 turn. To like look, I talk about this in my book as well, actually. Look, I show you this graph. This actually explains a few things that I want to talk about right now to answer your question.
Yeah.
So,
sure. I was just curious.
Because in chapter 5, the political triangle, you have three main values, which are stability, equality, and freedom. Okay, so Milei, or people who believe in freedom, this top right corner here. So those small triangle here, those are democracies. Milei and people who believe in individualism and freedom are always the minority in any group. Okay? And it was actually amazing that someone like him won after kissing the ring and becoming Jewish.
No.
right?
I mean, he's not yet there, I think. But
Yeah, but he converted to
expressed the wish
Judaism,
to
and suddenly he wins the elections and stuff, even though there was no way for an individualist to ever win in a democracy, because
I mean, he's the first libertarian president ever in history.
he's the first
So-
libertarian president. That's unprecedented. That's impossible in a democracy with universal suffrage. You would know if you read my book. Neo knows.
But I we could talk about like what that means that he wants to convert to Judaism. But I mean, I actually don't know much about him either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that like a libertarian candidate won.
But I heard that
Thing.
But I heard that he, now that he's in the ruling class, it's not about libertarianism anymore, and it's about stability and
It could be
whatever
could be
he
that
needs to say to become the ruling class, right?
Yeah, that could be that he's getting like cucked now, or he's pulling the Trump, right? Like the populist. It was just being a populist, could be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably. So
maybe like he just was popular and to win, could be.
yeah, so I wish I could talk about it, but I just don't know enough about it, about the
Sure, yeah.
topic to talk about
I was
it.
just curious.
So
Makes sense.
never mind. USA says Tesla or Nvidia. What are you talking about?
Tesla.
Yeah, XRP says Tesla. Right. That's probably. Frank Saber one says cable guy with hearts. Hey, how are you, man? TJ says hi Goldie. Hey TJ, how are you doing? I hope you successfully moved. We talk about something privately. Cable guy. Okay, so those were the questions. Okay, yeah. So we went through the articles. If you have any more questions, let me know. But that's from my side. I like when I get pissed, I actually talk better. I think I make better arguments. So yeah. So sorry to bash on you, XRP. Yeah.
So like it's not helping that I have this cold, and whenever I have to laugh, I have to cough.
That's okay. All right. Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about? Is there anything else you want me to talk about, Neo?
I want to talk about AI actually.
You want to talk about AI?
Yes. So I
Wait, before you start, Tips for Men says, how do I time the market? You don't. You cannot time the market. You will always be wrong. The only time you're not wrong, you're just lucky. Look at Dr. Michael Burry. Look at him. The doctor. Lost like millions of dollars because he's a
one
doctor
thing.
in timing the
best
market, right?
don't be greedy if you can't afford it. So maybe that's my advice.
Okay, so you want to talk about AI? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think AI it has great potential. Actually, I know you think it's a bubble, and so maybe it's going to be a bit of a debate. I agree in that there's wrong investment, right? So the label of AI is used for stupid companies. Like for example, that everyone invests in Nvidia. Nvidia is just the chip maker, right? Like anyone could make chips, I know it sounds stupid, but there's probably competitors that can just kill Nvidia at any time.
But sorry, just to interrupt you a little bit. I don't know much about it, but like those chip factories in Taiwan, those super advanced chips, the US is trying to manufacture their own ones. So Nvidia makes those chips, or is there a difference between them?
No, Nvidia doesn't make them.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a Taiwanese company that makes them. Nvidia just it's not the manufacturer of the oh god, my brain stopped working. Semiconductors.
Oh, semiconductors.
It makes the chips, but not the industrial steps.
Okay.
I mean, South Korea produces some too, not just Taiwan. And I know they want to go like Samsung has like some of their own production, I think. And now they want to move some to the United States. I wish I would know more details about the semiconductor production. Yeah, I don't actually know.
But
Yes, I'm
Nvidia
sorry.
is not making semiconductors. They're just making like circuit boards or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they have like efficient graphics, like efficient like GPU for AI specifically, and that is used for I think training. I think like ChatGPT, right?
Okay.
But the thing, like, so they think that like all these AI trainings are going to happen with NVIDIA graphic cards, basically. So that's why they're all investing in NVIDIA and thinking that NVIDIA's going to make an insane amount of.
But that's a bubble, no? That's a bubble, right?
But I think NVIDIA is a bubble because there will be like as the demand for these chips increases, there's other chip makers, right, that can take NVIDIA's place. So it's not just NVIDIA that is really good at it, right? There's going to be a lot of other companies. I mean, Apple makes their own stuff. Samsung makes their own stuff, right? So I think that NVIDIA stuff is the bubble. But I think the technology of AI is insanely promising, right? I think it's an industrial revolution.
But what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like ChatGPT?
No. I mean, ChatGPT in parts it's just part of it, right? I think that AGI is like happening. People underestimate it. So ChatGPT, they think of ChatGPT as like, oh, it's not that good. They underestimate that we pretty much figured out how the brain works and learns information. And at this point, we know exactly that it's just about more training parameters. So just increasing the size of the model, it's going to get us closer to outperforming human intelligence. And this will happen in like the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
And like it's kind of inevitable. Yeah. It's not just ChatGPT, by the way. It's happening, I think. And so people don't realize what it means, though. Like they kind of misunderstand it, I think. I want to hear thoughts.
My thoughts, so there's a difference between general AI and the AI that ChatGPT is. So general AI is the AI you see in like video games, like Vegas from Doom Eternal, or David from Prometheus, the movie Prometheus. That's general AI. That's AI that actually like learns using but the AI like ChatGPT is, for example, it just like ChatGPT can't think. It just gives you an answer based on what it was taught. And it actually needs fact checkers who are wrong, by the way. I use ChatGPT to ask things about reverse repos and so on. Super naive. It can't think. It can't really think. It's amazing in retrieving data it was given, but it can't actually think. But teaching an AI to open the door, open the window, telling him to understand concepts, that's general AI. And there's actually no progress made towards that. So that's a big difference that I think people don't understand.
Oh, are you sure? There's no progress?
Yeah, like I want to hear your answer to that.
Yeah, I mean I disagree with the ChatGPT. I can't think. Yeah, it has limits because of its memory, and they're limiting its power internally because of they want to save money. But so they're dumbing it down a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it has a lot more censoring too, right?
Doing with it, yeah, and so they must have internal models. There's models out there that are very capable, but we just don't have access to them. And like the thing is, there's nothing that proves that we think, So just to give you an example, like humans are very similar. They also have a preconception of something, and they match the outside world to their image of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening in the brain. So like a language model, it's trained on a model, and it will try to predict whatever is coming in and try to match it up with what's happening inside. But the brain is very similar, right? Like when you're a baby, you learn what's going on and what's happening. And like after that, like once you're an adult, everything is just prediction. Like how far away something is. When you look at someone, what you think they feel. When you listen to someone, what you think, what response you should give. It's like all like predictive patterns. And I'm not saying that we're just like AIs, but it's already very similar. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So there's no...
ChatGPT is a mind, right? It works just like your mind too. Right? You have like thoughts and then they come and go and you do something with them. That's what the mind is. And that's ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is not an illusion of intelligence. It's the same illusion that your mind is an illusion. Yeah, I know what you mean. But what I mean is, like let's say there's actually this guy who combines ChatGPT with a camera to tell him what things are, right? But to make, for example, like let's say you use that ChatGPT in like a robot body with eyes, with hands, with it can walk, like it wouldn't actually, like even if you used it to program it to give it like a terminal goal or something, it wouldn't be like a living thing. Like it wouldn't you have to give it like, you just say, oh, like for even like the guy who's using a camera, for example, ChatGPT, all it does is just tells him what it sees. But you need to program the logic to give it a terminal goal, right? To execute that general AI. There's nothing made towards that, that's what I mean.
Look, I agree 100%, right?
Yeah.
But like I agree with you. But for example, I could take a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could destroy parts of its brain, and then it won't feel hungry anymore, and will just sit there and starve to death, right? So like there's something in the dog that's programmed him to actively seek out food, and it's in a human the same. Like I can just destroy parts of someone's brain until they don't feel empathy or love or hunger. Like I know it sounds like super reductive, and I sound like humans are just machines, but
you're like a Mengele or something.
Yeah, but I mean, some ways we are, right? And it's just like, I don't think that it's like I could take a picture of the fridge, and then I can ask ChatGPT what to cook, and it would know exactly what in my fridge, like what food I have, how much, and how much I can cook. Right? Like years ago, this would have been like unimaginable, right?
No. But what makes like this robot, for example, to pick up a pan and actually cook this stuff then? Like what is that? You know what I mean? Like,
I know it doesn't have like an internal will. Yeah, it doesn't have a will.
Yeah, like, yeah, sure, I can use ChatGPT, like, okay, look, what can I cook with what I have here? And it would just tell me, oh, well, you have tomatoes, you have leeks, you got some chicken, bacon, and, and ham. So why don't you make, like, tomato sauce with, I don't know, like cordon bleu, chicken cordon bleu, right? Sure,
yeah.
Right? Like, look, you see what I did there, right? I just did what ChatGPT would do, right? I had the items, I put it together, right? And then it just uses what you give it, right? Like it looks at a tomato, like no one told you when you were a baby, oh, like you just, like you see this red thing, you associate it with round things. Oh, okay, then it's a vegetable, and then the name of this is tomato, and then you just like associate it with more and more things, right? And you eat something.
Yeah. Good point. You make a good point.
Yeah, and then you associate with more and more things, but that is linked to your to your instincts, right? Which you don't think about, right? So ChatGPT is a great mind, but it won't, like, it's hard to explain. Like this general AI you need to actually make this robot or whatever to actually pick up a pen, understand how to crack an egg, understand how to,
And
it takes.
I think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, sorry, my cough.
No worries.
No, actually, you make a good point. Yeah, I guess I was being a bit too reductive. I think you make a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is that, right? Like I just don't. I
Yeah, but
don't understand it completely. Like I didn't give it too much thought.
like one thing you also cannot underestimate is like how powerful the human, like the brain is in, like how much it actually does in terms of processing.
Yeah.
Like the brain does more calculations than almost all supercomputers combined.
Yeah.
But with only 20 watts per hour. So it like burns barely more than a light bulb.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to emulate that capability, you would basically need a nuclear reactor powering a supercomputer to simulate what one human brain does.
Yeah.
But because it's not just your thinking. Like your thinking part is like the least amount of stuff you do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I like, but like my point is like sure, like a robot is not possible, but not because there's something special about the human, like in terms of the function, but like human brain is so energy efficient at being intelligent that we could never put that into a robot. Does that make sense?
But yeah, it makes sense. But how about a I don't know, a squirrel or a mouse?
Oh, they're very efficient too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
their brains are
Okay. Then how about an insect, right?
like there as well. Like they're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. How about like an insect, right? So we're not even at the level of like a cockroach or something. You know what I mean? Like, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. I know, like you just increase the power and then eventually you will create a mind. But I just don't. I don't know. You know?
I just think that it's like at a step where it's like what will actually like replace a lot of jobs. You know, I see it with my company, and it's like capable of replacing a lot of jobs. Like, and I think it will have like huge economic impact. I think
Like
in the future.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, like GPT will have massive economic. And I mean, maybe not ChatGPT, but like this AI in general will have massive economic impact. I think.
No.
Like
it would just make things more efficient. Like I don't think
Yeah.
people are gonna lose their jobs. Oh my god, yeah, but like like it can't replace a lawyer. It can't do anything actually. Like ChatGPT right now, it's replacing maybe like a BuzzFeed article writer, but that's about it. It's it can't be a lawyer. It can't be an engineer. Like it can't. It's just a tool.
I mean, like,
It's just a tool that now more creative people who have been like suffering actually under this boomer economy, right? Have now the ability to, I don't know, write a book much quicker or do art. Like do what they.
One thing you underestimate is it replaces all the middlemen. Right? So ChatGPT basically bridges the gap between people. Right? So like sorry, I'm a software engineer, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like when I have to learn something, I always have to learn new things, like use new libraries or like learn how to use new tools. And normally I would like have to buy a course or something. And now I just use ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even ask people things anymore. Right? So like for me it has already replaced.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a tool, right? That
Yeah,
makes
it's a
your
tool,
job
it's
more
like,
efficient.
Like it's
Or
gonna.
more
I think it's
available.
gonna replace managers. It's gonna replace teachers. It's gonna replace HR, lawyers. It's gonna replace accountants. Right? Like all these like bureaucratic paper jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these things, I think are gonna go away. To be honest, because robots are just better at them.
Yeah.
Like they're more accessible, right? You can. I mean, not because like a lawyer, you have to make an appointment and you have to go there and You have to explain yourself. With the chatbot, I can just like write what I want. I can communicate with it. It's free. And then I'm like done right away. Whereas with a lawyer, like I have to go there and oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So like all these jobs are gonna go away. Like all these, which I think is a net positive for the world, by the way. Like I think people have better things to do than being like like lawyers.
More jobs are
you know?
created, right?
Like more jobs that like
More specialized
something.
jobs are created, better paying jobs are created.
I hope so.
So it's a net positive.
Like more productive. I mean, I know like people might disagree that like lawyer is like it's a completely human made thing, right? Like we have a government and corporations, and then we make laws, and then to interpret those laws, we now have lawyers, or like we have tax code, and because of complicated tax code, we need accountants. Like all these jobs don't even have to exist, right? Like you could use that human labor elsewhere, in my honest opinion. So I think it's actually net positive for the world.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Okay.
I hope I'm not boring the fuck out of people, by the way.
No. It's just already 8. I'm pretty tired. I had a full day of work and but it was a good topic. Thank you so much for insight. Someone is asking, like, last question here is like, do you believe in Jesus Christ? So you have to be more specific, you know. Like you mean like as a historic person? Yeah, probably. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there was one or multiple people that you could refer to as Jesus. But from a religious perspective, you know, even within religions, there's so much, like so many opinions about this person, right? Like Islam views Jesus as a prophet. Christianity says it is God made into flesh, right? For other religions, like we have, even in Hinduism and any major religions that came before Christianity, we had the same similar stories. There was always a flood somehow. There was always the resurrection of someone. There was always a man or person representing a specific god or deity. There was like these ideas already existed long before the idea of Jesus.
Don't say that. You're gonna hurt him.
Yeah, no, but it is true, right? So if I believe in Jesus Christ, I'm not sure if I can simply just answer that question. It's a very loaded question.
I mean, I believe in Jesus, you know.
Yeah.
Not as like not as a God though. I don't think he's God, to be honest.
Yeah, but then you don't believe in Jesus Christ because it says Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Nuance.
See?
Like
Right?
Christ is Christ just Messiah or?
Yeah, exactly. Jews, they believe in the Messiah, but they think Jesus is the wrong Messiah. Like you know, there's people out there that are much smarter than me that give this topic much more thought than me. So I don't think I'm fit to answer this question. I believe in truth. I want to seek the truth. I want to embrace the truth. But
You know,
the whole topic of Jesus Christ is just so loaded. And I just don't have the resources at the moment in my disposal to give you my true opinion about it.
I'm gonna trigger everyone now.
Okay, go ahead.
No holy book from God declared any religion ever that talked about the belief. So all religions were like literally made up from the belief in God, like to define the group that they thought were the chosen one, whatever. But at the end of the day, the contract you have with God, the promise you have with God, or like the covenant, that's something you have to make with God.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest with yourself. You know, if you die today, think about it, you know. Are you worthy? If you really believe, are you worthy? So that's something you have to answer yourself and not find comfort by defining yourself by a group,
Yeah, exactly.
So that your feels are being satisfied. So ignore your feeling. To be honest and practical about it. Right?
No, be
So
pragmatic about it. But unfortunately, most people, for the same reason, people who believe in freedom and in individualism are the minority. For the same reason, most people who identify with their religion is not because they actually seek truth. It's because they just want to conform. They're conforming to the best next thing, and the most comfortable thing to conform to is the religion or the culture they grew up in. That's why that's why most people are Christians in the world, right? So
yeah. Go and read the Old Testament and then tell me where it tells you what religion Noah was, or what religion did Moses belong to, or Abraham. Try to find any passage, or like what religion did Muhammad belong to? Read the Quran. Where does it say any? Where does it mention a specific religion?
yeah,
So you can't anything.
Islam
You can't
means
find
Islam
word.
just means submission. Islam
Can't
just
find
means
a single.
submission. Yeah.
So it's by your deeds that God will recognize you, not what you say.
Or what group you
Be
belong
honest.
to.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah. And also, there's no right and wrong. You have to get that out of your head. There's no good or bad, or right and wrong. Good is what benefits you. Bad is what doesn't. And it causes a lot of conflict in this world. There's no good or bad, or right and wrong. That's completely subjective. What is right and what is wrong is completely and utterly subjective. So you have to get it out of your head. Oh, I have the truth behind me, the truth. I have the right God. They are wrong. They are evil. We have to destroy them because they are evil. Right? Okay. Anyway, so Tips for Men says, what are your opinions on the afterlife and do you believe in any kind of higher power? Okay, so these guys really want to know, right? So
I'll let you go first.
yeah, okay. So let's say, okay, what are your opinions on the afterlife? Okay, so we started scratching on the surface of talking about AI and the mind. So what you are and the mind is an illusion. Who you think you are is just the memories you had combined makes you think who you are. But who you are differs from your partner. You're a different person for your friends. You're a different person for your parents. You're someone else for anyone around you. You don't even exist in most people that are alive right now in their world. You don't even exist in their world. Who you were yesterday, right? That was a different set of memories you had about yourself. So who you are is an illusion, right? So the mind, your mind, the thoughts you have, the thoughts you grab to and act on, it's all an illusion. And to better explain what I mean is, so the only thing that is true is change. So think about it. What you made out of, the elements you made out of, were forged in a star. And a star had to die first to make Earth possible, first of all. And then a lot of things had to die to make life possible. Like, I'm talking about life not as biological life, I also view like, you know, a star that is dying or something that has a beginning and an end is also a form of life, not biological, but that's just, just to make you understand what I mean. So, and just to keep you alive right now, things have to die as well. That's the nature of things, right? So when you look outside the window, I'm not sure where you're from, but there's a pretty nice tree outside my window, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. It blooms white. I think it's an apple tree. So it blooms like really nice white in the spring. And I appreciate the sight and the smell of it. But you know what I don't see? I don't see the other 10 trees that couldn't grow for this one tree to grow. Right? So the only thing that exists is change. So water in the ocean is water. Then it becomes clouds. Those clouds become rain. Then you drink that rain. It becomes part of you. You pee it out. It becomes part of the sewage. And its core doesn't change what it is, but its form is constantly changing. And so are you. And so is your being and everything that makes you. So in that sense, you are immortal. And in that sense, that is your afterlife. Just because you will die one day, the illusion, like you just think of, like it's an illusion. Who you are is an illusion. You die every day. The person that you were 10 years ago is not here anymore. It's over. So you have to understand that first. And when you cease to create new memories, when you die, how you exist is just going to be in a different form again, just like the water. So in that sense, an afterlife makes sense. And then when we come to, if I believe in a higher being, so I tend to believe in a higher power. I do. And I explain to you why. So I believe, first of all, in a higher power. I also wrote that in my book, actually. My prologue in the book here is very interesting. I can maybe read it for you guys one day. But think of like what people don't understand, what people fail to do. Okay, I always see like on TikTok, on YouTube, I see these debates like, oh, there's God, there's no God. There's like shut up. Okay? If there was an almighty deity, an almighty God, what would that God be like? And I put a lot of thought into that when I was writing this book, even before that, since I'm a kid. And so it must be something that is not physical. Because everything physical, everything we see, we touch, is created. So if there's a creator, what is created, what we perceive as created, cannot be him. Maybe part of him, but I don't think so either. So it has to be, so the creator is not created. So we know the Big Bang had a starting point. It was an infinitely small point. Yeah, it came out of nothing. All right? So out of nothing, everything that exists now started to exist. Everything that we can measure started to exist. So there's like this diagram of the, I'm not sure if you have ever seen it. It's like a cone shape where you have like the Big Bang here, and then it's like the billions of years of the development of the universe, like the first stars and so on until now, like it's about like 13 billion years. So inside this cone is the entire universe. And between like, I don't know, Earth and Moon, there's nothing, right? But it's actually not nothing. There's no nothingness. There's field theory, there's things, quantum theory, there's things that pop into existence all the time. They eliminate each other real quick. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes one part goes into a black hole and the other part becomes radiation, which is also known as Hawking's radiation. So that is like a black hole emitting radiation is actually proof that there is particles and things coming from that nothingness, what we perceive as nothingness, all the time. So it can't be nothing, right? So what surrounds this cone, what explains our universe, is the true nothing, right? So this is just explaining the things we measure, the things we can see, the things we can perceive, the things we can, with our very limited mind, explain. But what about the natural forces? The natural forces are not physical, and yet they act. The natural forces do not exist. They just express themselves in different forms that we can measure. Gravity, for example. Why does mass bend space-time? Right? What is that gravity? We can measure the effect on things, but we can never measure the actual thing because it doesn't really exist. It is an outside force. It is an outside force that acts on our universe. It is non-existent, but still somehow exists because we can measure it, but we can't perceive it.
Yeah.
So that's the closest thing that we could describe to what God is. And if you look at our universe and like, not our universe, just look at Earth. Look at the fine-tuning of everything. I know there's billions and billions of stars. I'm not saying alien life couldn't exist or something like us couldn't have existed or will exist in the future somewhere else in the vast emptiness of space. I don't know. I just don't know. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that there's an incredible fine-tuning of our world. The natural forces themselves are very finely tuned to each other, so specifically that they're actually able to create our universe. If our universe expanded a little faster, it would just exist of gas. If it was expanding a little slower, right? We're talking about fractions of measurements here, right? It would have just collapsed within itself again. And it presumably came out of nothing. Nothing comes out of nothing. Nothing is nothing. Okay? And
yeah.
Let me just finish this point. Look at the distance from the moon to Earth. It's the same ratio as moon to sun, which is why we can have an eclipse. We have an unusually large moon. We have life. Just our neighbors do not have life as we know it. Right? Look at Venus. It's an extreme example of what will eventually happen with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And Mars is just the opposite of no atmosphere. And we're just a sweet point in between. And we had billions of years of life. So what we call life and evolution, how it starts, there's actually no way we could know for certain that doesn't serve a bigger plan. Right? If you are an almighty being, or just you don't even have to be almighty. Just imagine you're a being that could just travel close to the speed of light. 100,000 years for you would be just a day that we would perceive. 100,000 years would pass on the outside world, and for this being that travels this fast, just traveling fast enough, would be just like a day or so. So you could basically watch the Roman Empire, come back next week and watch you and us talking right now, if you could just travel fast enough. Right? And when I look at that fine-tuning of the earth and the universe and the natural forces, which basically are the closest thing that would describe an almighty God, natural forces themselves do not describe a will or wisdom. But creation does need wisdom. The natural forces alone do not explain that wisdom. But when I look at the wonders of the world and the fine-tuning, what I just explained, I think that's a hint towards some wisdom or something that is acting on our world. So in that sense, I do believe in a higher power. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, so that's why I didn't make any comments.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah, but there's just some things I want to add.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so sorry, just getting a cough. So there's also, like our brains play a trick on us, right? So generally, what we perceive in this world is what we think is real. So whatever happens to us, we don't actually perceive it as unnatural. So I know this sounds weird, but like as long as it doesn't come out of left field, if it's something that happens all the time or just like happens, then we automatically think it's real, right? So to explain this better, like if you dream, the craziest things happen in your dream, and you don't question them, right? And people who hallucinate, they actually believe their hallucinations. They don't question them, right? Or even like if you believe a fact is true, but like a room of people denies that fact. I'm simplifying this long enough. Like your mind will change, and you actually suddenly believe you're wrong.
Yeah.
So you, like a survival strategy to kind of accept reality as it is and not see it as absurd, and not worry about it. So I always like question, like when we talk about like God or like even heaven, and like, oh, this is like crazy, like a world like this could never exist, Our world is based on reason and logic, and it's like, how do you know our world is not absurd? The only reason you think it's normal is because that's like your world you grew up in and live in.
Yeah.
But like, how do we know it's not like completely, right? Like, if we would live in a completely different world, of course there would be processes behind how things then work. Then we would have explanations for it, and we would think it's completely normal. If we had floating rocks on Earth, then we would find some explanation for it in science, and then that would be just normal. So like the question of like, oh, this is absurd and this is not. It's like actually you don't know, right? What is absurd, right? Like laws of physics could change. You don't know if they ever changed, if they could change. You don't know.
Yeah. They don't.
We have no idea.
They don't in our, like how we measure it here. But who knows? Maybe if you go out far enough, maybe they're different. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they theorize, right? That the laws of physics change if you get closer to a black hole. Maybe that's why it's so weird. Like I heard theories that, it might not only bend space-time, but also bend like the rules a little bit. But like, I don't know. Who knows?
And also, exactly. But also, the world is not adjusted for us. We're also adjusted for the world, right? So, for example, the way we think, like our processing power happens in a linear way, right? And so the way we process things creates the world that we live in, right? So, for example, like a photon doesn't experience time. A photon is immortal and timeless.
Yeah.
It is at the point of creation and at the point of its destination at the same time.
Right.
In its own experience, if it could experience.
Yeah.
Right? So the way we process things and the speed we're moving through space-time, it's like a balance. So we process in the perfect way and how we experience. But that's not how the universe is, right? Like you just said yourself, if you move at a faster speed, then things would look different. But if you're infinite speed, then like everything merges one. So the universe is like just like this blob of energy. But our linear consciousness, our experience of time, makes us see this world of color and life and all this, right?
Right.
So might as well be created for us, for us living beings.
I see what you're saying. It's in the eye of the beholder. The universe you see, or the existence, or reality, is just in the eye of the observer. Yeah.
So when they said, like, oh, this vast universe, so God could have created it just for us? Yes. Yes, maybe.
Could be, yeah. The reality we experience, right? It doesn't mean the whole universe was created for us. Doesn't even mean That doesn't even mean the Earth was just created for us. That's not even the question. It's just about you.
The blob of energy. It's always the same blob of energy. The distinctions it has of different planets and formations and structures, that's our perception of how we move through time. That's not the whole picture of the universe, right? It's God is just a blob of energy, if a God exists, right? It's like not even a big thing.
Yeah.
So our perception, our consciousness sees the universe this way, right? Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
It's like a complicated topic for me, but
No, it does.
Right, so that's like some things I always think about. I think that makes us kind of unique and special, and also makes our experience very unique and special. Like, be grateful you're human, man.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. While I was talking, he said, "But my consciousness would not live forever." Yeah. I tried to explain that. It's just.
Sorry. Yeah, and then go back to your original question. I was there. Why not? Everything you do, you kind of leave a footprint. Like everything you do, every step you take, every word you say, and everything you think leaves a footprint. It's information that's like ingrained in the universe. It's like a seed you burn. And if there's an almighty creator, then he could recreate you. It wouldn't be difficult. Right? Like he just has to collect all the data about you.
Yeah.
And then can basically perfectly retrace who you were, what you were. Right? Like a super advanced archaeologist, basically, right? Get your DNA, like reconstruct your DNA from that air molecule, like that moved and then caused a chain reaction billion years later, right? But if it's like super almighty, advanced, and knows everything, then it can do that, right? And then it can recreate you, and then place you in a new world or a heaven. So why not? I don't think it's that ridiculous to believe in a heaven if you believe in God in the first place.
Yeah, if you believe in Almighty God, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's not ridiculous. That doesn't include each other. Right? But we don't even know where the universe itself came from or why things are the way they are in the first place. So that's what was my first point. Like, why is it ridiculous to believe that there could be a different world where we are placed? Right? Like, we're not saying. Yeah. Right? Like, I hope I'm making sense. Like, it's not. Yeah.
So then.
Just believe in God. Possible.
And then Evan joined, I think, in the middle of while I was talking, and he said, "Is it possible that the universe is just actually infinite, and the Big Bang was just a localized event?" Yeah, of course it's possible, but the point Neil was making is that it doesn't matter, because it depends on who's experiencing it. For Photon, the universe never started and never ends.
The universe is infinite already.
Yeah, right? It is infinite, right? And also infinitely expanding into what, right? So, like that's what was Neo's point. Appreciate
it's your consciousness right now, your perception that makes it appear in a linear fashion.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That processes information. No. So your create processes information in linear fashion in a sequence of time.
Mm-hmm. And also,
but for you, like the universe, it's infinite.
Yeah. And also, like if you say localized point, like you need like a hyperroom or something for that, like what is the middle point of the surface of a ball, of a football, right? What's the middle point? Like my fist, right? Like if that's a football, where's the middle? Like if you traveled to the edge of the universe, in light speed, how far away would be the edge from that point to you? Same distance. Because there's no middle point on the surface of a sphere, right? So, right? It just depends how you perceive it. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. 7 Foot Daddy joined actually. I'm not sure if he's still here, but thanks you for joining. Silver Ridge just joined. Sorry. Better you rewatch this part on YouTube. So you can rewatch this part on YouTube. Thank you everyone for joining, asking good questions, listening. Please check out the link in my bio. Check out my books available on Amazon. Check out my newsletter. Of course, I'm posting my take on the market, on geopolitics and economics daily on my Discord newsletter. You can join for free. It's a 7-day free trial, and you can just decide to cancel if you don't like it. But you will like it. I have people that joined and they're sticking around since over 2 years now. So, right? And yeah, so thank you so much for joining. You can rewatch this segment on YouTube. It was a very interesting segment. We went over a lot of topics. And I wish you guys a beautiful rest of the weekend. All right? Have a good
All right,
one.
take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.